welcome to the quarter-final here at Mission Foods World Netball Championships, Singapore, Australia versus Malawi. Australia the Diamonds, the defending world champions, the Malawi Queens, the African champions, ranked 7th in the world. And the winner of this to go through and play the winner out of Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, which will be next here at this magnificent stadium where it's a sea of gold behind me. A lot of Australian fans in here expecting to see a victory, of course. We've seen New Zealand pushed hard by South Africa. Will Australia get a challenge from Malawi that played them twice and never lost to them? And the Australian results so far, thrashing Samoa 81-23, beating Northern Ireland in a not so impressive performance, 75-33, and beating Sri Lanka, absolutely flogging them 97-20. The Malawi results, well, they've had 1 loss and 2 victories. They lost to England by 65-33. No shame in that, as England have racked up a huge score earlier today when they beat Northern Ireland 87-16. But they then beat Malaysia 66-35 and Barbados 73-44. So Malawi, always a little bit of an unknown quantity. We didn't know much about them coming into this event. They came 5th at the Commonwealth Games, beating South Africa. And at the last World Championships, they beat South Africa. So they are the African champions. And have a look at that. A sea of, well, mainly green and gold, but there are a few black and whites in there, of course. Great rivalry between Australia and New Zealand. Let's look at the lineups, and firstly, here's the Australian Diamonds, and with me, of course, the Australian legend, Anne Sargent. What do you think of that?
I think we're seeing more and more a threat to the Australian line, and I think this starting line around the mark for bigger games should they progress to the match tomorrow against what we expect to be Jamaica. Of course, one semi-final already decided. The next one up for grabs. But Cox and Medhurst are developing beautifully as a combination. Pittman strong at the wing attack. Corletto teaming up with Susan Furman for this one. And we expect Furman out there for the height of MALAWI Kumwenda, the 187-centimetre Malawi goal shooter, a young talent in that.
So here's the Malawi lineup, and their names are a bit difficult for Australian ears, perhaps. There's 2 Kumwendas, Bridget and Mwai. Mwai plays in Australia with Peninsula Waves down in the Victorian League, so he's someone that you're familiar with. Cindy Simtoe plays for the Bungu Lionesses, so that's an interesting name. Now, this Malawi team, we have very little knowledge of them. Only 6 of them have played in the Commonwealth Games, but we can expect that they'll play a static, slower style, tough on the body, and that'll be a hard test for the Australians. Edith Cagliati is their coach. Well, the Australians in their warm-up looked mighty impressive. No injuries, good news for them. Malawi also look like they've got a clean bill of health. Very colourful outfits, aren't they? Their centre is Bridget Kumwenda. And comparing the heights of the goal shooters, the Australians much bigger, of course. In wing defence is Kachilika, she's only 175. The wing attack is Pinganjira. She's 170.
And there she
the goal
is,
shooter,
Kumwenda.
there she is. That's Mwai Kumwenda. She's 187, so she's their biggest player by far.
She's
but she'll be up against Susan Furman.
Absolute star coming out of World Youth Cup, was a 98% accuracy at that event. So she's been earmarked internationally, and of course the invitation to play for the Peninsula Club in Melbourne has given her vast experience. My understanding, she may be re-invited to stay. Negotiations as we speak.
Just look at the size of Susan Furman, the Furminator, who's next to their star shooter, Mwai Kumwenda. That'll be a great battle to keep an eye on. Also in defence, Corletto, 183 centimetres. Simtoe, the goal attack, 175. So a physical superiority, if nothing else, for the Australians. If you're not aware, South Africa, southeastern African nation, Malawi, and they are known as the warm heart of Africa, the Queens. Nat von Berto starts proceedings for the Australians, and a long feed by Nat Medhurst into Kath Cox, who's shooting at 85% so far in this tournament.
Wafalua already out of play with the contact, but not converted for Australia. Umpires for this match, Joel Young-Strong from Trinidad and Tobago, top of screen, and Bronwyn Meek from New Zealand.
The Australian Diamonds pressing, putting a lot of pressure on the passing here of the Malawians. Of course, they lack international experience. They don't play as much as the Australians do. We've only played them twice. The last time Australia beat them by 30.
And a little unorthodox. They'll go backwards to go forwards, almost like a freezing the ball style of play. But it's just their patient way of working it down. Don't be put off by their small stature. The elevation is incredible.
Furman not afraid to come out of the circle in defence. She and Corletto.
Where some teams would panic at this slow progress, Malawi revels in it. Australia need to be patient and attack the ball.
Forced the error. Well done by the Diamonds. A great start by them. Here's Gerard. Recently played her 50th international. She's in great form here. Corletto. Von Berto looks for Pittman. She'll bounce it into Cox. Back to Pittman and then Medhurst. Medhurst shooting brilliantly at this tournament so far.
And continues to, putting Australia on the map. Nat Medhurst with the first shot for the Diamonds.
She's averaging 92%, only behind Caitlin Bassett, who they have as 100%, 92 goals, but actually she's got 91 out of 92, so it's not quite 100.
Kumwenda out of the circle on leads. So they're not using her as a post shooter or a target shooter.
Bridget to MALAWI, the two Kumwenda sisters.
In fact, no one in the circle for Malawi. Now Kumwenda enters. She tries to work around the body of Furman.
Gee, it's a contrast to Sri Lanka, isn't it? Where they just post up with their giant 206-centimetre shooter.
Great pressure from Monia Gerard, the Australian wing defence. And I'm sure that's the message from Norma Plummer to really work hard in front, get over the ball, pressure a more inexperienced side.
Cindy Simtoe's shot unsuccessful, so it's still 1-0 to the Diamonds. Cox and Pittman working with Medhurst.
Bit of a departure in the defence line for the Diamonds. We're more used so far in this event to see Corletto team up with Geitz and Shani Layton with Furman.
Nat Medhurst in superlative form as she was for the Queensland Firebirds in the ANZ Championship. Carried it on against the Silver Ferns in the 2-test series. And this whole team in such great form that Norma Plummer can really rotate them with confidence.
And a happy team. I spoke with Kim Green as they entered the stadium, and she said they had a great day yesterday. The team is great. She said it's such a happy group, Annie. It's just a delight.
Well, they're great to watch. They'd be the fittest Australian sporting female team that I've seen in many years. Australia's shot 9 in a row. We haven't even got to 9 yet. I don't know where that one came from. They've got 3-0 here, but perhaps that's the last tournament that they played. Their shooting has been a delight to watch, particularly Bassett.
Cox out on lead, just taking her time working around the body. Medhurst. 4 straight for Medhurst. She's opened well. Nat Medhurst has been in great form to the post so far for Australia.
This is the unsung hero, Nat Von Berto. Player of the match a couple of times. So it's Corletto.
Great vision,
Pittman.
Good vision from Pittman to Cox. Cox in her 90th game for Australia puts her first on the board in this match, and Australia controlled and composed at the start.
On the Sydney Swifts, Kath Cox at 35, still playing brilliantly. Shot here for Simtoe. Oh yes, forced the turnover. Von Berto. Gerard. Von Berto again. Quicksilver handling by the Australian Firebirds. Uses the ball to maintain balance and quite legally.
Not stepping. The other foot was a grounded foot. Being misread by Joel Young-Strong. Nat Von Berto knew exactly what she was doing. Ball to the ground to steady herself. Kumwenda with a nice snatch.
Very well done by Kumwenda. And again that hand of Von Berto. Snaking in and getting the intercept, forcing the turnover. Quick transition by the Diamonds, and it goes to Cox, but her pass is knocked over the baseline. It'll come back to the Australians.
The offside call against Bridget Kumwenda, the Malawi centre, who really had no right to go for that because she was always going to land offside. It's almost a deliberate offside, but Malawi with possession.
Good intercept by Mwafulira. Considering how little they play internationally, these girls are so impressive. Kumwenda.
Almost a game of keepings off the Malawi style of netball, and a frustrating style for opponents. And there you see the frustration of Furman, desperate to get around onto the ball, but coming through the body. Little dip of the head to Bronwyn Meek. Nice offload to Kumwenda. And a tiny flick, almost no movement in the arm, a tiny flick out of that right hand, and she's 1 from 1.
So they've got a goal. They're on the board against the Australians, who've been formidable, particularly against Sri Lanka, 97-20. And that's another great shot by Medhurst, who maintains her flawless shooting record. It's 6-1. Bridget Kumwenda, the centre, to her sister. She seems to shoot to her quite a lot, to MALAWI. MALAWI was the player of the series at the World Series in 2009, where she shot 98%. Really came onto the international scene in that tournament. There she is, the professor, they call her.
Of course, Malawi missing their 2 most experienced players. I'm sure Australian audience is familiar with Mary Way, very short in stature, very round in shape, but just a magician at goal attack. Really knew the craft of holding position. That's a beautiful ball to Kumwenda.
Lovely feed by Cindy Simtoe.
So Cindy Simtoe stepping into big and skillful shoes. And also Peace Chawinga, their centre for many years. Both players retiring recently. There was some talk they may be reintroduced to the Malawi squad, but perhaps a little unrest at going away from youth development. They made the gracious decision to retire. And Peace Chawinga now sits as assistant coach on the bench alongside Edith Kaliati, who takes over the reins from Griffin Sayenda, who will be well known on the international stage as long-term Malawi coach. Nice hold from Kumwenda, who's obviously learnt the value of body positioning and holds and the style of Australian defence from her time with Melbourne. I understand doing well there, on the board as one of the better players in the season. And she did well to hold off Furman.
Here's the wing attack with Pinganjira.
Just mixing it up. She's been overplaying front position. The little roll coming from Kumwenda to spring around and take the back of Furman.
There's Cindy Simtoe putting one in, so it's 7-3. Kat Cox shooting well. She's got 3 out of 4. Pinganjira.
Very patient start from Australia, quite disciplined. You'd expect Noah Plummer has spoken about body control and not getting caught up in the physical contest or awkward landings, and absolutely setting the tone, but control seems to be the word of the day.
Corletto rifling the pass down to Pittman. Throwing it high for Cox. The whistle had gone.
Contact call goes against Medhurst, so Australia robbed of possession. Irrespective.
So now it's Malawi's turn. Can they score again? The deficit 5 goals. Bridget again goes to her sister, Moi. Now it's left for Cindy Simtoe. Flips it over the top. Beautiful pass.
And good support.
Intercept.
Great support from Monia Gerard. That's been a good feature of the Australian game, that they swarm to support the player on stretch on a deflection.
Nice take by Pinganjira.
Furman is being frustrated by Kumwenda, who's consistently taking front position on the outer space in the circle.
Once again, Cindy Simtoe is accurate and narrows it to 8-4. 2 out of 3 for Cindy.
Fast break for Malawi.
Quite unusually for them. They normally play it fairly slow.
Good work for Furman, who holds up the feed, allows Australia to rally. Forces another ball from Malawi. It draws the penalty.
Bonberto's sizing it up. Lateral pass out to Gerard. Then it goes into Pittman. Flipped over the top.
Screen offered by Kat Cox on the baseline. She opens herself. Medhurst opening the circle space.
Back, please, goal attack. Yes, thanks.
So Medhurst comfortable at this range, loves to shoot from there, and she makes it 9-4 with her 6th success.
Well, it's not what you'd call a pretty game, nor a high-scoring one, but Australia doing what they have to do.
Contact, wing attack, penalty.
adjusting to the pace of the game, being careful in disposal, careful in their own body placement.
And Takule, that is, the goal defence. Getting it to Kachalira. And back they go. They sometimes have to go back to go forward, as Annie said.
Well, good pressure from Pittman, but the distance short. Bronwyn just putting her out. Fast break, though, comes on the second challenge.
Deflected there nicely by Monia Gerard.
Great drive to the circle. Malawi not releasing the landing space for Netball. That's a causing contact. And it's that kind of contact, Peter, that can be the undoing, landing on a player that doesn't release landing space, rolling the ankle. They're dangerous situations for the Australian Diamonds, and I'm sure Norma Plummer has spoken to them about protection of space.
And the flawless Medhurst has finally missed. She's got 6 out of 7. Kumwenda won't miss from here. 9-5. Umberto and Pittman, a little 1-2. Nicely done. Bounce pass intended for Kath Cox off the fingers of the goalkeeper. That's Wafaliwa.
Yeah, intentions telegraphed then by Chelsea Pittman, and of course the choice by the floorboards, giving time for the keeper to run it down. This time through Cox, it rings back. Medhurst, close to the smallest in the circle, perhaps second smallest, comes up with the rebound.
Yeah, she's about the same as Takule, who she's matching up against.
Contact, goal attack.
And if our Australian audience is a little frustrated that this is not a more high-scoring quarter for Australia, bear in mind they take the court after New Zealand and South Africa. New Zealand went to the first break in that match, trailing South Africa 10-11. Shell-shocked crowd. The Silver Fern fans are absolutely stunned by a less than scintillating performance from the Silver Ferns. They rallied with the lineup changes, and when they introduced Langman at half-time, built a 30-goal victory, but didn't have things all their own way, and perhaps the first wheel wobble we've seen from the world number 1.
As the Aussies had against Northern Ireland. Well, that wasn't as bad as that. They were never headed. Kath Cox has been a rock for this team. She shot at 85%, 62 goals before this game. Lost none of her skill.
I think Northern Ireland had their match of the game against the Diamonds. They were put in their place well and truly by England earlier today, 87-16. The English Roses putting themselves on the map, putting out the call to New Zealand, who they will play tomorrow in the semi-final, that we're coming to get you.
Yeah, it could be a great match, that one.
Of course, Australian Sue Hawkins coaching England, so she would be well pleased to cause the major upset of the championships and be first into Sunday's final. For Australia, it's one step at a time. They know they're not quite there yet, but they're taking care of Malawi in a steady and controlled fashion.
12-6. Kumwenda, 4 out of 4.
Obstruction, wing attack, penalty pass. Wing attack beside.
Very quiet game. The crowd just observing, not really involving themselves or supporting. So it's got a bit of a lid on it, the match, which doesn't help you when you're out there on court. It doesn't lift you. It's just a tradesman-like performance.
A bit of tension here because Malawi, as I said, is a bit of an unknown quantity. They're a danger team. 13-6.
Australia, of course, off a rest day yesterday, utilising that well in the psychological sense. The coaching staff and management off to lunch at one of the brand new hotels here in Singapore, 57 stories high, with a horizon pool dipping off the edge. Then high tea at Raffles. The players allowed to have family time, spend it with friends and family. They did the market, some the zoo, some the temples, some Chinatown. And for Laura Geitz, well, she bought a house.
Oh, that's nice.
Her fiance rang her and said, darling, I just bought us a house. So player of the match in one of the earlier games, and the prize a little belated, but lovely for Laura Geitz, who is soon to be married.
And there was a supporters breakfast this morning at which Susan Furman announced she's looking to buy a house next year. Nat Von Berto told everyone she has a game day nap, no more than 1 hour, so she sets her alarm to wake her at 59 minutes. A few of the secrets of the Diamonds were revealed at this supporters lunch, which was very well attended. I mean, there's a huge crowd of Australians here supporting. At the quarter time, 13-6 in favour of the Diamonds. So 13-6 at the end of the first quarter. And it'll be interesting to see if the coach, Norma Plummer, does replace just about everybody at half-time, which she's been doing in the early rounds. But will she keep the same combination here, Anne?
I think, as we've mentioned before, the coaches have to run the line between resting legs in preparation for these two huge games they expect in the semi-final and the final, and threading the line. We saw Ruth Aitken in the previous match wholesale changes across the match, and I suspect while her intention was to maintain some recovery for players, she also needed to twig a line that was not running smoothly. Norma Plummer, I think, has put it out somewhere around the mark, but yes, I think you can expect that she'll freshen up some of these players at half-time.
It empowers the lesser players, doesn't it? The less experienced players who might be a bit nervous at a big event like a World Championships. They've been playing so much time that they won't be nervous no matter what the situation.
No, and all different styles in these early rounds. They won't be complacent, though, the Australians. This isn't a win in the bag. It's something they really need to be careful with, and it has frustrating elements about it. What it does is rob them of the momentum they built so brilliantly in that match against Sri Lanka. That was just stunning netball. Now we're back to a halting style of netball, so it won't feel comfortable, it won't feel good, but if they can be disciplined to the game plan, they'll draw a lot of confidence from knowing they can do that.
No change to either side for this second quarter. Both coaches happy. Here's Cindy Simtoe from the Bungu Tigresses.
Good position from Corletto.
And good transition down the court with Gerard and Pittman combining with Von Berto. Looking for Cox. She's under heavy pressure, but she gets the ball at some distance.
The penalty early, didn't wait for the player to stand out of play. Risking an interpretation from the whistle, but nets the penalty.
Kath Cox has got 6 out of 8 now.
So Australia, as you expect with this particular pairing, sharing the workload. Unlike Bassett, when she's on court, is the go-to girl.
So the turn of Malawi now, with the two Kumwenda sisters combining so well. Bridget as the centre and Wai as the shooter.
Offside call robs Malawi of possession. Furman pushing it from the back in attack. Van Berto down. Playing the captain's role is the link. And that's knocked out of Coletto's hand. It is seen by Joel Young-Strong. Cox out on leads.
Kachilika got a hand in there, but went over the baseline. And Cox
Nice ball
takes
from
it
Chelsea
nicely.
Pittman. Weighted it well. Cox, such a master at owning the post, and turns on good timing to it.
So 4 straight goals at the start of this quarter to the Diamonds.
Quick hands of Von Berto, and that denies the Malawi defenders a chance to get in and mix it with the body. So the speed of the release important to Australia. Even though they might have to slow down the physical game, the running game, the speed on the ball important to be maintained.
Cindy Simtoe, yes.
And she
Good
likes
shot.
it. She's happy with that, Simtoe.
Well, she would be because she only had 3 out of 6.
Australia working for close position. The screen offered by Medhurst. Cox took a little further than she had to. Could have run that a little closer for a close range shot. They'll now start again with the penalty. Deja vu. Instant replay. There's the goal.
Medhurst 10 out of 11.
Good start from Australia. 6-1. Not even 4 minutes gone in this second quarter, so a bit more intensity about their game. And just as we wonder who will line up for the top 4 in the semi-finals, we also wonder who will umpire the big matches, remembering it will be neutral umpiring. And there is the UPA, the Umpires Appointments Panel, that oversees an event such as this. For this event, it's made up of Dawn Jones from New Zealand, Margaret Deegan from England, and Yvette Smith from Jamaica. And those 3 will assess the umpiring performances each game, every day, make appointments for the following day. And somewhere probably late at night, close to midnight, as I shove that ball back on court.
Well played, Annie.
Thank you.
You haven't lost it.
Good peripheral vision. I had my head down. That's a fatal error in netball. Yeah, sometime late tonight they will find out who's got the berth on those big games tomorrow.
Crucial, isn't it? It's like
could
any
be in
sport,
contention.
soccer, rugby. If you get somebody who has a different interpretation of the law, it can really confuse you.
Well, if, as we expect, it's Australia versus Jamaica, we know it will not be an Australian umpire, but it may well be one of the Kiwi umpires, 4, I think, at last count, participating in this.
I can see the reasoning behind it to give the lesser umpires, less experienced umpires, an opportunity to perform at the highest level and thus improve their standard. But it must be frustrating for the players at the highest level, like the Silver Ferns and Diamonds players. They'd prefer to see New Zealand and Australian umpires.
Well, I think there's often an argument mounted that the best deserve the best. Impartiality overrules that, but yeah, the players know which are the best umpires, and I think they entrust a level of impartiality to those, as you would. But that's not the rule. Neutrality it is, and neutrality it will be. Malawi with the ball, quickly working for the turnover. Unlike their back to go forward, they're going the fast break. A bit of rise in momentum for Malawi. Good pressure from Gerard is denied by an encircling call. An obstruction call against Furman. It's a long-range penalty. Stepped in by Simtoe and landed.
Interesting shooting style. It's nicely balanced. And she has 5 out of 8.
And Malawi have scored the last 3 on the trot. Just a mini break for them. Lapse in concentration for the defending champions.
Contact centre.
Medhurst with a lovely trajectory on the shot.
Almost textbook shot from Nat Medhurst. So balanced, such a pretty release. She's a fine build, Nat Medhurst. Brilliant speed, beautiful mover, but lovely soft fingers on the release of that shot.
So 20-10 after it was 13-6 at the break.
Good work, Susan Furman, one of the few she's been able to get to. Suffocates the Malawi shooter, and she'll be pleased to have that one. It's been a frustrating game for her. Cox out on lead, splits the court, connects shooter to shooter with Medhurst, who times her drive well. Comes back at a good stretch. It'll be Malawi throw-in.
Only the second miss by Medhurst in 13 shots.
Only 2 for each of the Australian shooters, so pretty tidy, averaging 83%. Malawi less impressive at the post, is sitting at 71. Nice
Quick
drive to the
transition for
circle,
once.
too much space left by the Diamonds defence, and that's disappointing.
That was different style of play from Malawi. Caught the Australians napping.
Well, Furman drawn out of the circle. Kumwenda, we noticed in the first, was taking some leads out, but she really drew Furman then, and Coletto too was high.
So here's Von Berto. Now Medhurst missed the last one, and she atones for it with that beauty. Makes it 21-11.
Australia just chiseling away, carving this lead. Nice ball again, beating Coletto, well placed.
Great battle for the rebound.
Coletto slow to get up, and the breath, the collective breaths of this Australian audience were held then with the length of time, and Coletto looks to be in bother. This is not a good sign.
Well, she had that
awkward fall
ankle
from her.
really badly broken, and is it the ankle or is it the face?
No, she's just come back from knee surgery, considerable knee surgery.
No, it's the
and
face.
Maybe it's fingers in the eyes, and I almost, or nose, I'm not sure. I'm almost hoping it's that and not the other, because missing from the Commonwealth Games line after significant knee injury and surgery, and such a fight back from her. She's such a beautiful athlete. It's just a pleasure to have her back in the Australian line. So we'll hope it is something to do with the face.
The 24-year-old
Sure,
from Bulleen. She's famous
that.
for pasta now in Australia.
Yes, she is. And a beautiful ambassador she is. So the team doctor goes out, not the physio, so I'm thinking it is something visual. Nose, perhaps. She's not quite comfortable. I'm sure the 2 minutes nearly up. Norma Plummer calls to the manager wanting to know what time the bibs are out. She does stay on, and they clear Kath Gaffney, the Australian Diamonds team doctor, from the court.
Good defence there by Malawi, and they've turned it over. And they've got an urgency about their play now. They've really sped up their passing.
That's so frustrating for Susan Furman, because she actually copped a bit of body on the way through. She absorbed that, then went to have a go at the ball, and she's got to be allowed to extend the arm to have a go at the ball, and then allowed, if she misses, to recover the arm.
She's such a big, strong girl too. She takes up a lot of space.
But she can't be penalised for obstruction for raising the arm to go for the ball. It's only if that arm is sustained out that it becomes an obstruction call.
Medhurst gets a beautiful rebound. What a
bit of help from her friends under the post, putting a bit of work on it. It really puts some rock on it. So perhaps denied the goal by her teammate.
21-12 with Medhurst, now 13 goals at 81%.
Contact, wing attack, Australia.
Penalty count quite heavy against Australia, 33 compared to Malawi, 20. Turnover rate 10 apiece.
Simtoe misses, pulled down by Coletto.
Well, incredible pressure from Furman then over the shot.
Cox, good vision.
Yeah, puts it across court. Big drive from her. Now they switch positions.
Bonberto gets the better of the wing defence, which was Kachalika.
Just reset Bonberto. A little quick off the mark for her own good. Bronwyn Meek noticing it. Australia working hard to hold Malawi in the defence third. They come through. Coletto flying. Now getting back on court. They've got the numbers, Malawi.
Simtoe had just come out and got the better of Coletto in defence, is now into attack. Slipped it to Kumwenda. She's working hard, Cindy Simtoe.
Yes, please. Come on, goalkeeper. Move a little. Yes, please.
And it's 22-13. So Australia going back. Gerard, Pittman, Bonberto under pressure.
Well, the fake was to Bonberto and then the pass to Bonberto. So she really drew Bonberto and her opponent to where she ended up placing the ball. So putting the skipper under pressure, needed to open it up again. Just a little stagnant at times. Top of circle is Pittman on the choices.
Medhurst's 14th goal.
Great leap from Kumwenda, who's mixing up staying back in the circle with some long leads out to the transverse line, forcing Furman to make a decision of, do I chase or do I stay back and play two in, split circle with Coletto and wait for the re-entry.
Beautiful acrobatic take by the Professor Kumwenda. Appreciated by the Australian crowd.
Australia winning this quarter by just the two, have been stalled by Malawi, running more goal for goal in this section.
Still maintaining a 10-goal buffer. It's 13-6 at quarter time.
Yes.
That's an offensive contact against Malawi's goal attack for her attacking work off the centre. Cox to the post, long range bomb.
Yes.
What a treat.
She
what
really shoots from there.
Well, I think she'd had enough of all the mucking around and the stalling and just decided, I'll silence this.
And she's got 10 out of 12.
Contact, going defence, penalty pass.
Oh,
And
shoe off.
again, the rhythm robbed in this game, and the Australians finding it hard with the stop-and-go nature. Can't establish the rhythm they're used to. I'm sure Norma Plummer would love them to get some drive happening, but between whistle and between Malawi going backwards to forwards, it's a little stagnant at times.
You know, I read an article in the paper this morning that this Malawi team was only announced 2 weeks before the World Championships. How could they ever develop a combination?
Well, I know there was also written up there was about 120,000 grant towards preparation from the Malawi National Sports Council. I guess that's contributing towards the cost of getting them here, but yeah, it is amazing how that situation could contest the mechanism and the support Australia, New Zealand, England in particular enjoy. Jamaica too announcing a new sponsorship.
Yeah, the Silver Ferns last year had a revenue of $5.7 million.
Cox backs herself again, too much on it.
Goal attack, penalty pass.
And Takule's picked it up. And now Malawi try to get it down court.
Free pass.
Unforced error, the footwork call against Malawi. Possession back with the Diamonds.
Medhurst and Cox moving around in the circle, sometimes shooting from out wide and sometimes posting up. This time Cox very comfortable in close, and she's got her 12th goal.
And there is a way to alleviate the frustration that some of the Diamonds must be feeling, and that's probably to put Bassett on and just post the high ball for the second half, and I'm sure they'd see it open. But Norma Plummer, no doubt, wanting her players to work through the hardships of this game, absorb it, realise the problems, be disciplined in how you manage it. You will need to draw on all of that and more, because it steps up so much tomorrow and the day after that.
Probably Jamaica, could be Trinidad and Tobago, depending on who wins the next quarter-final. Certainly good preparation this match.
I think if you're a betting man, Pete, I'd dump it on Jamaica.
Yeah, the Sunshine Girls in great form, high-flying, graceful, beautiful to watch. 28-15 to the Diamonds with less than a minute to go till half-time.
And we spoke earlier of the breakfast the Diamonds attended this morning. A little bit of history of that breakfast, as the 1983 Australian team was acknowledged. Several members from that team here supporting their national side. 1983 side, of course, world champions for Australia. So Joyce Brown, the then coach, Jane Searle, Karen Smith, great defensive line. Jill Mack, who's here as consultant coach to Singapore, the centre, and Sue Hawkins, my shooting partner, here coaching England. So their attendance here for diverse reasons, but they were honoured at that breakfast too, albeit their campaign was a tad sweatier and perhaps not as glamorous as this. They are wonderful, one of many wonderful Australian world champion teams, and they're here, most of them, supporting this team as the tradition rolls on.
The final shot finds its mark from Cindy Simtoe, and she finishes with 8 out of 12, so she's lifted her shooting percentage to 67%. And Australia leads now by 11 goals. They led by 7 at quarter time, but Malawi has made it very awkward for them. And this game's not all over yet. So don't write off the Queens against the Diamonds, who are shining brilliantly here in Singapore.
Team like this.
Well, the Australians have made some changes for this second half, as we're expecting. We'd see them shooting around, warming up, and I'm not surprised Bassett's in there.
No, we expected Bassett to be in the mix of the changes. It gives Australia a go-to girl and a fast way to score. It also just changes up the style of play so that they have options still running right up and until the semi-finals. Norma Plummer believing they need that versatility and need to be able to alternate their style. Also being introduced to the game, Shani Layton comes on replacing Pauletto at goal defence. Laura Geitz replaces Furman at goalkeeper. And Kim Green replacing Chelsea Pittman at wing attack. So fresh legs in the middle to assist the skipper Von Berto. A completely new circle pairing. A little bit more mobile in Geitz at the back. And Bassett teams up with Medhurst.
We haven't seen one move by the Australians that we saw so often against Sri Lanka, where from the centre pass it was almost blinding speed as the ball was relayed down the court, or from an outlet pass sometimes you saw a straight score. It hasn't happened once against this team. Malawi, good defenders.
No, but in the words of Lois Muir to Ruth Aitken after New Zealand's not particularly pretty win moments ago, winning is a win, is a win, is a win. Don't worry about how.
Just repeating, Bassett is at goal shooter, Geitz at goal goalkeeper, Green wing attack, and Layton at goal defender. And for Malawi, we've got Bridget Kumwenda now at wing attack. Mpingan Jira is moved to the centre. Mwafulira is at wing defence, and Tawira Vinkumbo has come on as goalkeeper. But their main shooter, of course, is still Mwai Kumwenda. He's got 10 goals from 13 shots.
Advantage contact in the
There goes the high bomb to Caitlin Bassett, the first of many we expect to see in the second half of this match. Quarter-final playoff between Australia, world number 2 defending champions, and Malawi, ranked number 7, who finished second in Pool D. Good work, Nat Medhurst. So the Australians working hard, their attacking line deep down out of territory, contributing in defence. Front position gives a long-range shot to Bassett. She does draw the penalty. She just clears some space. That's a longer range than Bassett's used to, but she's not perturbed.
Very rarely seen her shoot from that range in this tournament.
Green quick off the line.
Too far even for the long arms of Caitlin Bassett, the girl from Coolbinia, Western Australia.
Nice deception from Medhurst. Looked out to the circle to the feeders, plugged it into Bassett.
So 31-18.
Another good touch from Nat Medhurst. So perhaps a word at half-time to increase the defensive pressure. All 7 on court. Don't leave it to the back line.
Obstruction, goal attack. Obstruction centre, penalty pass.
Australia putting pressure over the ball, are now out for several obstructions, so they're really working front position, hands over.
Step aside, no, where the goal defence is. Come in, goal defence.
Simtoe, no mistake. That characteristic one-legged style. She sits very nicely, and she's got 9 out of 13.
Nice feed, lightning hands. Bassett needs to really hold strong and make sure she's giving clear position.
She's got Vinkumbo up against her now.
Vinkumbo was part of their Commonwealth Games side, so she's well experienced. Quite a strong build, Vinkumbo too, so she'll be working to push Bassett off position. So Bassett will need to hold strong. Geitz and Leighton haven't played as much together since they've been here at these championships. So again, the lineup's being blurred by Norma Plummer, flaunting the versatility.
Pinganjira, good feed, the new centre.
More intensity about the Australian line since they've come on after half-time. They're denied then by the whistle.
So it's 32-20, a 12-goal lead now.
Kumwenda deep down on the transverse line, now makes the way back, tries to get around Laura Geitz.
Geitz looks so fit. The skin fold must be incredible.
Low. Incredibly low.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
I think all of them. You won't have a dud amongst them.
Tour de France cyclist.
Yeah, no, they've really put in the work in a sense of strength and conditioning, both with their ANZ franchises and, of course, under Netball Australia management with Norma Plummer.
Bad pass. So the Diamonds have it. Leighton, ball of energy.
Good speed on the ball now. The speed from Green lifting this forward line.
Bassett bodying up at the pass, misread.
I think she was frustrated, Kimberly Green. She knew she was edging towards the 3-second rule, and everybody was a bit static, and she really put it without thought. Perhaps even giving it a bit of lift to space would have given them time to run it down. It was almost a knee-jerk reaction. Almost fast break from Malawi, who finds Simtoe bypass the heavy Australian defence over the top. That's a pretty play from Malawi.
And Bridget Kumwenda, who was in the centre playing well at wing attack. Dished off to Simtoe, and that's a very nice piece of play by Malawi that gives them their 22nd goal.
Ida Kaliati would be well pleased with her side. They're running goal for goal in this third quarter with the defending champions. And you see then Nat Bomberto almost a trip, but certainly the body being placed within her pathway, subtle as it may have been, is just against the intention of the rules.
Gee, there's a lot going on off the ball. The bodies are banging into each other in this supposedly non-contact sport.
And it's those awkward placements that Norma Plummer would be aware of and have cautioned her players to be guarded against. Bodies and limbs can come out without warning, just a different style of play, different patterns.
Here's Kumwenda coming right out to the transverse.
ball. Goal attack. Centre third.
And Malawi reverting to the keepings off style of play we saw at the start of the match, almost toying with the world number 2.
Defence, penalty pass.
Shani Leighton, a willing competitor, will come out at everything and anything. Now retreats to join guards in the circle.
Bridget Kumwenda and Cindy Simtawi combining. Laura Geitz getting up there.
Yeah, good positioning from Geitz. Good pressure over the shot. The second phase to attack the rebound strong. The drive coming from Gerard. And now Australia back play, back to go forward. See there, Geitz contesting with Kumwenda.
Lovely pass.
And a nice split from Bassett. That gives her the closer range shot. She could have been lazy and take it on the front foot and step on, but she really split strong underneath the take.
And Bassett 4 out of 4. Looking for number 5, but just couldn't pull the pass down.
Perhaps a little impatient Kim Green then. Bassett was repositioning, and as she was, the drive coming from Medhurst. A little more subtlety on the passing and patience in delivery.
Perhaps they could try the high trajectory lob, like the Sri Lankans do into Shiva.
Well, that's all well and good. The positioning has to be appropriate for it, and Bassett was just shifting off, repositioning and bringing herself sideways. So the angle was tough for Green.
Nicely taken from Wenda. And Kumwenda's got 12 goals at 80%.
Advantage, contact, goal attack.
Good work from Leighton, and Geitz working behind it, trying to stop Kumwenda's re-entry to the circle.
Simtoe, very quick pass. The hand of Leighton came in, but it'll be once again Kumwenda.
Well, the Malawi shooters doing a good job then to defend the Australian defenders and screen off them, and they had ample space to place that ball.
So it's 34-24. Medhurst looking inside, finds Bassett. Good high jump by Bassett, who came out, got front position.
She's not getting post position though, Caitlin Bassett. She's allowing the Malawi defence to push her out and away from the post, so the feed's dropping in front of her. So a longer range shot than she's used to, and less comfortable, more pressure on her.
I doubt that she'll get her normal 31 goals, which she's got in 2 games. Anyway, she got 31, 31 and then 30.
She's 5 from 5 so far, but more than halfway through this quarter. So the scoring rate well down.
Yes, please.
Gee, these Malawi girls are tough customers. Much different proposition than Sri Lanka were.
It's 7-all for this third period. Make that 8-7 favouring Malawi. Australia's scoring rate is just stalled.
And Cindy Simtoe's found her range. Nice shot.
Contact, goal defense.
Bridget Kumwenda doesn't mind the body contact, that's for sure.
Contact, keeper.
Now, and Caitlin Bassett has to sort that out. It's different to what she's used to. It's not like a New Zealand defence where she's had some experience. It's awkward, it's underneath you, and she needs to defend the defender, untangle herself, be strong in what she offers. Oh, nice split. Nice split to give that close shot.
Pinganjera, good feed.
And Kumwenda tries to motivate the side. She walks right down to the transverse line, slaps the hands. They trail by 10.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Well, this team beat South Africa at the Commonwealth Games, and they did it at the last World Championships. They're no pushovers, the African champions. Lovely work. Draws the applause of the crowd.
Yeah, the combination is understood then between Geitz and Leighton. Both were drawn, and you'll see it here, both drawn to the driving shooter. Kumwenda unattended, so Leighton almost outrunning Geitz to try and get to that, and perhaps should have held back as the back player and make sure she had post shooter covered.
Contact, goal attack.
Bridget Kumwenda playing equally well at wing attack as she was in the centre. She's only small but very lively and doesn't mind the contact. Geitz getting up high. Oh, lucky rebound. So it's back to 10, 37-27. Oh, yes.
Well, the Australian defenders are in chase position. It won't please Coach Plummer. Malawi making a comeback, have scored the last 3. They're now involving the crowd. There's an energy about the game now, and the fans sensing that Australia are in a danger period with the run coming from Malawi. They can see the defending champions are in disarray, particularly in defence. Nat Medhurst puts the challenge out, and Nat Von Berto, the skipper, signals a change of defensive pattern. They come from the back, they turn back on the play, so Australia working a press with the forwards arms up over the line.
Kumwenda coming way out and leaps like a basketball
Great work, Geitz.
to
Great
put the
work.
ball in.
Laura Geitz saw the step on, ran in, arms up like a wall. She was 3 feet from the landed foot position. Well done, well executed by the Australian goalkeeper. That's a lifting play from the Diamonds.
Now the Australian fans are really getting involved in this match. They're cheering and supporting their team, who are in a little bit of trouble.
Well, it's been a flat performance. It's been awkward and flat, and we know the reasons, but that is a beautiful over. That is a lifter for the Diamonds. The crowd now involved. They're letting their girls know we are watching. We know you're almost in a holding pattern waiting for tomorrow, but finish this one.
At one stage the deficit was 8. Now it's out to 11 goals.
It's just amazing how one technically good piece of play, Laura Geitz, then knowing the rules, executing it perfectly, the open play to follow has lifted the team, involved the crowd. Australia need to use this momentum 2.5 out from the 3rd break.
Mwai Kumwenda very cleverly dishing it off, and Cindy Simtawi making no mistake. Her 14th goal, 74% for her and 76 for her compatriot.
Bassett
Again, a
with
lovely
the split.
pass. That's what she needs. She's happy now.
Well, she's looking more comfortable. She just hasn't had the amount of possession she'd enjoy, Caitlin Bassett.
Only 8 goals at 100% still. Pinganjira nearly lost it. And for once, Kumwenda misses.
That's out of the hands. Penalty on court with Kumwenda out of play. And that's delaying because Kumwenda did not make her way right back to the player in possession of the penalty. Didn't stand beside. It's another stalling,
What a
halting
feed by
tactic.
Green.
Great speed on it. The Australians are lifting. They can start to sense the momentum now. It would be great to see them roll this home.
The lead now 12. And the Aussies are on a roll here as we come down to the end of the 3rd quarter.
And again, the constant whistle, the constant disruption has the effect of breaking momentum. Even Kumwenda's delaying tactic of not stepping out of play brings the penalty back, stops Australia's rhythm and fast break. So
They're in your
all
face,
these
aren't they?
things they have to deal with, all these subtle little tactics.
Bassett has 10 out of 10. 43-30. Biggest lead of the game so far.
Press pulled up by Australia. They're working off body in this goal 3rd. Split circle. Geitz a little slow getting onto it. Over the top they go, and that's been successful. Shooter to shooter from Malawi. Leighton just a little slow to pick up that back ball.
First time I've seen Bridget Kumwenda in 2 minds as she was with that press. But they still managed to nail the goal and reduce the deficit to 12 as we've got 30 seconds to go till the break.
Kim Green gets up, tough as an unnecessary contact. That one outside the circle, another one on the shot, slowing down Australia's scoring rate. Well, they led by 11 at half-time, and the lead now 13. So it hasn't been convincing from
Laura
Australia,
Geitz.
but you just sense they're lifting and put it down to the girl that now owns a new house.
Yes, yeah, she's very good, isn't she? From Allara in Queensland on the Darling Downs, Laura Geitz. She's capable of those plays that really lift her team. And there it is, the break, with the Australians on a roll as they came to that break, leading by 44-31, 13 goals with 15 minutes to play. So 15 minutes to play, and Malawi could win this. Don't write them off. It would be a huge upset if they did, but they're playing with great spirit and skill. And now Erin Bell is on the court. She's been in terrific form since she's come over here. And Kath Cox is back out there replacing Medhurst. So that's an interesting change.
Norma Plummer making sure that all her line are exposed to this game in case needed. Cox re-enters the game, this time at goal attack, replacing Nat Medhurst. So 2 talls on court. So all combinations, all styles of play explored across this match by Norma Plummer. Erin Bell, we've seen both sides of that transverse line, sometimes at the wing, sometimes in support at goal attack, is introduced for the final quarter. And Julie Corletto returns to the game, replacing Monia Gerard. Kim Green now at centre, so Gerard and Von Berto's legs are rested for this final quarter, no doubt in anticipation of being needed tomorrow should Australia finalise this and fight their way into the semi-final. That contact
Australia
noted and warning goes out, and Bassett, business as usual, puts up her 11.
Australia has made 4 changes, a sign of perhaps that they do need to change things up, because Malawi have unchanged come into the final quarter. Australia 4 changes with Bell, Corletto, Cox and Green onto the court. So no Furman there in defence now. Laura Geitz going to goalkeeper. And 2 goals to Malawi quickly.
Misunderstanding in the forward line from Australia. Now all of them will work to defence. They'll set up possibly mid-court press. I can hear the call set up. I can't see players responding. No, they remain on a one-on-one contest. Ball chasing a little at the moment, Australia in defence. Someone needs to come out onto the ball, read the Malawi back play, try and cut off some of these lateral plays, the back plays from Malawi.
Some acrobatic stuff. Kumwenda comes out almost to the transverse. Simtoi's in there.
Penalty call will sit late and out, so Geitz with a 2-on-1 against her in the circle. She tries to take mid-position to stretch them. Now onto the back shooter.
Contact goalkeeper, penalty shot or pass.
Well, that's a soft penalty. Not really sure what that one was for. I didn't see too much from Laura Geitz then. Now they're both out, and Kumwenda shoots past the Australian defensive pairing.
So it's 3 goals to Malawi and 2 to Australia since the break.
Defense, contact, penalty.
Well, off the ball, a contact call against Julie Corletto, who shows great discipline to stand out of play, because I'm sure she's bemused as to what it's for. And she's out of play for not setting the penalty, when in fact Malawi never set it, never walked to the out of play player.
Very ordinary shot by Simtoi there. Lucky to get it. And dishes off this time to Kumwenda. Combining all those 2. And the difference now is only 11. Let's see what Erin Bell does. She's fresh on the court, fresh legs.
Kim Green just clipped in the air then by her Malawi opponent. A dangerous play. She was fully in the air, off balance. A clip like that can cause serious consequences, and now Bassett is out of play. Not the start they'd want for this 4th quarter. The Australian Diamonds
coming out in defence. The passing of the Malawi team's been pretty good against this aggressive Australian defence. Wanganjira throws it high, looking for Kumwenda. Geitz bites the dust. Bounces up again.
Contact goal, defense, shot or pass.
There's a tension in the air here.
Well, the Australia on the end of a penalty hiding, 49 penalties. The whistle out in force as Geitz trips over the turned hip of Kumwenda.
And another one to Malawi, and they're 9 goals down now.
Well, Malawi 5 on the trot have broken the 10-goal barrier that has sat there for much of the match.
Well, the chants coming out from the fans there, really sensing the Australians are in a bit of trouble. They want to support the Diamonds.
And
Bassett
Jamaica,
from
no
range.
doubt, watching this. They're next to take the court here at Singapore Indoor Stadium against Trinidad and Tobago. They're hot favourites to go through that match into the semi-final. They expect to play Australia. Malawi giving it everything to rewrite the script.
Simtoy, a lovely little feed into Kumwenda once again, and it's 47-38.
Lightning ball from Bell. Well, it was on, but
Too hard.
too fast for Bassett, who dropped the eyes and didn't get the hands up quickly.
Little mistakes creeping into the Diamonds play. Flaws in the jewels. Hand in there from Bassett, but not enough to get an intercept. It's Wakwalira.
Take on the ball, goal attack.
So the Australians will be looking for an intercept here. Up goes Green, gets a hand to it, but misses it.
Australian Diamonds forcing a tough one-on-one defence, really manning up to their player, blocking their progress down court. Up goes Geitz and Leighton. They almost take each other out. The call goes against Leighton. She was almost ricocheted under opponent by Geitz.
The two Kumwendas combining brilliantly.
But Norma Plummer, aware that it's been far too open in the Australian backline, is asking her players to step right up, one-on-one, block their entry, work with them, hold them, hold them.
The margin only 8 now. 9 minutes to go. Malawi coming back strongly in this final quarter. They've found a formula that works against the Australians. Again, Leighton and Kumwenda go up, and it's Kumwenda who gets the ball.
Well, Leighton completely misjudging the body position, then slams straight into her. That was an awkward challenge from the Australian goal defence. The captain and vice-captain vice-captain on court with Cox reintroduced. She'll need to take command and settle this Diamonds line that's in disarray. And just for a moment, looking a little shell-shocked.
Cox needs to settle it down, and she does. Cool head.
Important Australia work hard to turn over this centre pass, get some rhythm back. You see them pushing defensively, Bassett working side to side, arm over.
The Diamonds need some inspiration. They need an intercept. Good passing by the Malawians.
And they're playing with the Australians, quick hands, keeping the ball lateral, backwards and forwards it goes till they pop the one they want, and it's Kumwenda.
Working it all around the circle into Simtoe, and she makes it. So once again, it's only 7. Coletto to Green, sprinting across court. Cox not afraid to go back over the transverse. Bell in there, firing it into Bassett. Bassett with a long-range shot makes it.
Nice play from the Diamonds, who recovered well. Bit more speed on the ball. I think the run by Malawi has really put some nervousness into this Australian camp. They needed that smooth progress down court to get the belief back.
Silver Ferns were challenged by South Africa, and now it's the Diamonds' turn. Under pressure from Malawi. Takule gets it out to Kumwenda. Working hard. Kumwenda's been on the court for the whole match, as has her sister Bridget, who's now in at wing attack.
Yes. Contact, wing defense penalty. Yes. Holding goal defense penalty, shot or pass.
Well, you hear the reaction from the crowd, angered by the call, holding call against Shani Leighton.
So there's the breakdown. Quarter by quarter it was 7, then it was 15 to 11, 16-14, and now it's 11 goals to Malawi and 5 to Australia in this quarter.
And this match showing not only that the different style of play can really cause an upset and disrupt the rhythm of the more fancied team, but also different styles of whistle and interpretation.
Well, you just got to contend with these problems. The Diamonds probably needing this kind of workout.
74 penalties against the Australian Diamonds. Leighton getting revenge for one of them then with a fine intercept, a lifting intercept. But they've been on the end of an umpiring hiding the Australian defence through this match.
Contact goalkeeper.
So the chance now for Bassett.
She just waits for her opponent to step out of play, because again the Malawi opponent not doing that, which is part and parcel of the rule.
Every goal is like gold for the Australians. They're hard to come by against Malawi.
Catherine Cox taking the on entry then to the circle, almost got a piece of the ball across the head for her effort. Now she opens a space for Bassett. A neat pass from Green finds the towering Australian shooter.
16 goals at 100% for her.
And the gap now 10, just under 5 remaining. A little healthier for the Australian Diamonds. Cox working overtime in defence. Bassett now cautioned for not being in the right place when out of play. Cox back to ball all the way back. From one transverse to the other goes Malawi.
The two Kumwendas combining brilliantly again. Takule's up there. They
Great
go back to her, but Erin Bell's got it.
Brilliant
That's
work.
what the Australians needed. This will lift their spirits. Leighton to Bell, fires it into Cox. Over the top it comes to Green, and she'll look for Bassett. No, it goes first through Cox, and now an easy shot for Bassett.
Yeah, quick hands. Well done, Erin Bell, who sat behind the pack, watched the Malawi pattern, and snuck like a thief in the night and picked one off.
What a terrific tournament she's had. Erin Bell from Menai in New South Wales in her first World Championship.
Contact, ring defence.
3:50 to go, 11 goals the margin for the Australian Diamonds. Geitz in there all over Kumwenda.
Yes.
Inconsistent interpretation for me on these challenges by Australia. That one of Geitz no different to earlier ones that have seen us sit out of play, but it draws a throw-in, not a contact. Kumwenda doesn't go for one then. Must be hard for the Australian defenders to adjust to the whistle.
Tinganjira.
A good position held outside the circle.
Little 1-2 with Cindy. And it's good defence by the Australians.
Crowd calling for an offside ruling on Kumwenda.
Geitz and Leighton working overtime, trying to prevent the shot.
Contact, goalkeeper, shot or pass.
Time ticking away, 2:55 to go. I think the Australians are safe now, but it's been a very close run thing. 53-43.
We've just had word to hand. Natalie Medhurst named the Mission Foods Player of the Match. So Natalie Medhurst for Australia at goal attack for the first 3 quarters of this match. Left the court having shot 21 from 24. As the turnover comes for Australia, they've been few and far between, but you can hear the sound, the applause from the crowd, who realise this has been a frustrating outing for the defending champions, and they've stuck in the contest, worked through it.
They've been whistled off the court, haven't they?
Whistled off the court, but those last couple of interpretations, the intercept from Bell, Leighton with a couple.
16 out of 20 for Cox at 80%. Medhurst shot 21 out of 24 for 88%.
Bassett just working to find position, works the front, puts the spit on.
And she still hasn't missed. She's only missed 1 goal in the whole tournament.
I think the only difference, Bassett with 18 from 18, is well down from the 31 goals a half she's been averaging for her outings to date. So Malawi certainly slowing down Australia, halting their rhythm.
How proud they must be of this performance against the Diamonds, because they've taken them right to the wire, haven't they?
Well, the last time they met to Commonwealth Games, 74-35, Australia won. So it is testimony to Malawi's ability to upset an opponent, change the rhythm and contest. As close as 7, I think they got, and really 7 is within winning range when you're on the run, on the trot.
Cindy Simtoe's got 23 at 79%, and Kumwenda has 78%, 21 goals.
Contact, goal defence, top of the circle.
And they've played the whole game there in the shooting circle. A minute to go.
Contact, goalkeeper.
Lots of body contact from the Malawians. They let you know they're around, even when the ball's nowhere near you. So we're into the last minute now, and Australia will try desperately to keep the Malawi team from scoring another goal.
Offside call stops Malawi from freezing the ball and denying Australia possession.
Pinganjira, it was at fault, came across the transverse.
Contact wing.
So Bassett, with time on her side, can shoot, no problem whatsoever. 19 goals, 20 goals for her. The 2020 game from Caitlin Bassett.
Another advantage for delaying the game. The ball has progressed into the circle. I'm thinking no, top of the circle indicates Brunwyn Meek, and another quick goal for the Diamonds out of the hot hand of Caitlin Bassett. So a flurry at the end makes things a little more respectable as Brunwyn Meek singles full time in this quarterfinal, and the Australian Diamonds will make their way into the semi-final of the 13th World Netball Championships. And they await the outcome of their opponent, the match between Jamaica and Trinidad and Tobago, to follow.
Yes, they end up scoring 23 goals to 13 in the last quarter, getting on top of their awkward opponents. It was a wonderful performance by the Diamonds to come through against very difficult customers here in Malawi. What a match it was. It's just the performance that I think Norma Plummer would have liked her players to have. Caitlin Bassett standing tall, literally and figuratively. 21 goals at 100%. She's only missed once in 4 games and has 123 goals now in this tournament. So Caitlin Bassett, well done from Coolbinia, Western Australia. The fans here have had a wonderful afternoon outing. 58-44 at full time. 14-goal advantage to the Australians. And let's have a look at the stats. Australia, 65 attempts to 56. The shooting percentage 10% higher, and it finished off a convincing performance by the Australians, who were whistled off the floor. 79 penalties against them to 51. Let's have a look at the highlights. The Malawi team, an unknown quantity for Norma Plummer and the coaching staff for the Diamonds, and they came up against 2 very awkward customers in the shooting circle in Cindy Simtoe and Mwai Kumwenda. Aided and abetted by Bridget Kumwenda at centre initially, and then at wing attack. In defence, they are very difficult. They play an unusual style, and sometimes it's static and frustrating. They go back, they go sideways, and when they make up their minds to go forward, they do it with great skill and precision. And they're great characters. The professor, they call Mwai Kumwenda, who plays with the Peninsula Waves team in the Victorian League. Look at Geitz there. She was terrific in defence. She and Leighton really lifted the Australian game. Nat Von Berto, not often you see her hesitating like that, looking for someone to pass to, because the defence was so well placed. Medhurst was as solid as a rock with her 21 goals from 24 shots. And when Bassett came on, it really locked the game up, because the Australians could post her up at the goal, and she didn't miss in the whole time that she was on the court, but didn't get the 31 that she got in previous games. Oh, beautiful work by Erin Bell with that intercept, which was a brilliant play that turned the momentum of that half after the goal difference was only 7. It was only 7, the advantage for the Australians, and it blew out to 14 eventually. Well, let's go to Annie courtside. She's with the Australian skipper, Nat Von Berto.
Thanks, Peter. Yes, joining me, the Australian captain, Nat Von Berto. I know that you would have gone into that match with no sense of complacency, knowing it'd be tough, but it was a really tough day in the office. Frustrating.
Yeah, it was. Look, we knew that they were going to throw the ball around and try and keep the ball off us, and that's what they did. So, yes, unfortunately, we didn't win by as many as what we probably would have liked to, but, you know, we had some really good passages of play still.
Surely, Nat, knowing that Malawi like to play the backwards to go forward style and freeze the ball just in the enjoyment of the game, you would have had some targets from Norma Plummer, hands over, blocking it up.
Yeah, look, making sure that we weren't off our player. You know, we needed to make sure that we were right on the body to stop those passes going around. And look, at times we did that, but unfortunately we weren't able to put that together for 60 minutes. So back to the drawing board before Jamaica probably tomorrow.
So how do you rate that as preparation for what you expect to be Jamaica, a tough semi-final?
Yeah, look, I think that was probably the best preparation that we could have had. It was really tight, and we had a fantastic crowd behind us tonight, and hopefully they'll be out in full voice tomorrow as well.
Well, the reception was fantastic when you left the court. I think the Aussies in the crowd are sensing your frustration and knowing how tough it is to play against a side as spirited as Malawi. Credit to them. Looking ahead to the next match, any tips? Are you expected to be Jamaica?
Yeah, we do expect it to be Jamaica, and look, I think they'll be nice and tough for us tomorrow. We've got some video to watch, and hopefully we'll come out with fresh legs tomorrow and can take them on.
Well, I think take reward from the crowd. They sense the discipline on court and the control, and lots of fans here looking forward to a great contest tomorrow.
Yeah, we like to see them all dressed up again for us tomorrow. They've been fantastic, and they really do get us over the line.
Nat von Berto, here's the play of the day. Quick play by the Malawi.